Hello and welcome. Welcome again to Eva's House of Spirit. I'm Eva, and for this video, I'm going to fulfill a request that was made to me. In my last video, A Pleasant Surprise, I mentioned that I was gifted an African bone divination set that belonged to my neighbor's late wife. And some people in the comments asked me to show it, so that's what I'm here to do. This is what it looks like. It's kind of small. It's kind of tiny. The booklet is attached to the leather pouch. And let me open up the leather pouch so I can try to show you what's in here. Probably just slide this up. Okay, come on, alright. Now I'm going to show you these sets of pieces. It's not a huge array, and like I said, it doesn't strike me as a set that is in the style of the hoodoo bone sets. This is a little different. Okay, there's one piece stuck in here. Come on. Okay, I think that's every piece. Okay, so I've emptied out the leather pouch. There are sets of two, actually. The first set, there are these two bones. And you'll notice one is slightly larger than the other. And then let me see, then there are like, these I guess you could consider sort of like sets of two, but really there's, oh, oops, I dropped one. There's these four little ones. Okay. And then there are these two things here. They look like some kind of a nut or a seed. I don't know what these are actually. I don't know what these are supposed to be. These don't look to me like they would be bones. These look like some kind of seeds. And let me see if I can... Oh geez, sorry. They look like some strange sort of seed. I don't know what kind of seed that would be, but they look like some kind of a seed. There's two of those. And again, one is slightly larger than the other. Then there are two tiger's eye stones. I can just tell these are tiger eyes because if you know stones, you can just tell these are tiger eyes. And then there are two pieces of what I think are red jasper. One bigger than the other. And I was looking at the booklet, and it is saying that, for example, the larger bone represents man, like the man. The smaller bone represents like the woman. The little ones, the four little ones that look like this, they're supposed to be the children, and they represent members of the family unit, like other people in the family. Let's see. These seeds represent ancestral spirits, positive forces symbolizing vigilance and protection. The red stones, the jaspers, what I think are the jaspers, are supposed to represent negative forces of the underworld. And then the tiger's eye stones, they're supposed to represent the seeing eyes of the man and woman, wisdom and perception. All objects are paired, male and female, the larger of the two representing the male. And then it says about when to throw the bones. Fortune is governed by lunar cycles, and the bones are usually thrown at new moon. The forecast applies for the current month only. And then they say how to use these. Remove the bones from the pouch and place them in the palms of your hands. To start the spirit flowing between yourself and the bones, blow on them and chant, I breathe my soul and the soul of my guiding spirit upon you. When throwing the bones for a friend, place the bones in his hands and chant the spell together. The bones are then thrown as you would a dice, and the future is read according to their positions in relation to each other. And they give you some illustrated examples. I haven't really read this whole thing, but I mean, I gather they're judged by how, you know, the proximity they have to one another. I have to read these, and it's like a little complex, so I don't want to comment too much on the aspect of how to interpret a layout, but I just wanted to show this to you. I mean, I haven't really studied this booklet completely, and I have no clue where this set originally came from. But on the back, in small print, there's a copyright. This is copyright Roots. So I don't know if that's like a shop, if this is like a signature set, or I don't know too much about this. If any of you recognize this method of bone reading, share your you know, so if you can give me like a little bit of information on that in the comments, I would appreciate it. Because this is not like, see, in hoodoo, they do use bones, but for example, they may use, I'm trying to think, like maybe a cat foot bone would mean something, and it would be tied to the symbolism of the cat and the foot bone, and like, you know what I mean, like things like that. And in the hoodoo bone reading system, there's other curios that are often added into a bone set. Often. I'm not going to say always, because some people don't read like that. I've heard of bone sets where it's all chicken bones. You know, if, you know, some people even make their own. Like, you could go to KFC, order some chicken, you know, take it home, eat the chicken, and then save the bones, clean them up. And then if you know how to do that chicken bone system, some people will use just chicken bones like that. I know that there's different, slightly differing systems. There's like the all chicken bones method I've heard of, which I don't know too much about that, but I've heard of that. There's people that read with only chicken bones. There's people that, again, read with some animal bones and some curios, herbal and man-made, you know, like they'll have like little doll parts and little things, all, you know. And I know that, like, it's not impossible to make a set like I did without bones. I made mine in all herbal, mineral, and man-made curios just because that's how I felt I wanted to go. And I've used my set a few times practicing with it for people, and those people told me that I actually got accurate readings. I'm going to stop the video here because I also want to show you what my own self-made set looks like. Okay, I'm back, and I have my basket where I keep my self-made sign reading set. I don't call them bones because there are no bones in the set that I made. The first thing, I always keep them covered when not in use with this mat that I will throw them on. Honestly, this is just a cloth woven like placemat type of thing. It resonated with me. I liked the pattern and the colors, and I liked how it was woven, so I use this, and I usually lay this over them in the basket when not in use. And this is what my set looks like. Oh! I have all kinds of things in here. I sculpted some little doll parts. Like there's a little head that I made, for example. There is, I sculpted this little, there is a little arm I sculpted. There is a little, I sculpted this little vertebrae out of Sculpey clay, and I used shoe black to you know, kind of put darkness in there. I chose this to symbolize a vertebrae. I sculpted a little pointing hand, maybe for when attention should be brought to something. I sculpted a little open hand out of Sculpey. I just used, again, white Sculpey, and I baked it. And I used shoe black, and I rubbed it in very well to kind of sort of antique the little, you know, parts that I made. I made a little foot. I made a little foot. Oh, I keep dropping the pieces. And so there's the little foot. What else do I have in here? Oh, and I have just a resting open hand, like an open palm kind of hand I made as well. I have all sorts of things in here, all kind of curious. Oh, and there's also a fist. I made a little fist out of clay, and I made a little jaw out of clay. And I have all sorts of things. I have little plastic animals to represent like qualities that different animal totems may mean, you know, like for example, I have a donkey, there's a dodo, which the dodo usually symbolizes something that has been, that is, something that was, that is no more, you know, something like that. I have a little cat, I have a hen, which tends to be like a female in a domestic situation, and then I have the rooster, which would be like the male in a domestic situation. I have a white tiger, I have a dog, I have a fish, elephant, and I use these instead of using actual animal bones because I don't feel that I need to use an actual bone to symbolize an animal or the you know, meaning in that comes along with the totem spirit of that animal. I don't feel I have to. Also, there is a rat, but this little rat, his nose is dirty. I don't know how he got that stain, so I use this to represent like a dirty rat. You know, like somebody. Oh, and the back is dirty too. It got like a not dirty, but like stained somehow. Just acquired stains. So that symbolizes like a dirty rat, sort of. I have some roots. Like this is a sage root. It's a, you know, has the associations of sage. I have a rose twig, rosewood. There is raspberry. Has associations of the raspberry. There's a cinnamon stick. Piece of pine, a piece of bamboo, there's a piece of honeysuckle. Oh, I dropped my honeysuckle. Oh, excuse me. There is a piece of forsythia, which usually means short-lived things, like things that start out with a bang and then they're gone. Azalea, cherry. What else do I have in here? I have some crystals. I have a big cluster of citrine. I have a smoother piece of citrine. I have a rutilated quartz heart. These all have various symbolisms. I have iron ore. What else do I have in this kit? Rose quartz, moonstone, red jasper, blue lace agate, quartz point, this is carnelian. I have various coins that have different images on each side. This one is a mercury dime. But I have various coins here from all different places that have different pictures on them. You know, like, for example, one of them here has, like, 3 buildings. I don't know if, let me see if I can hold it closely. It has, like, 3 buildings. And there is, like, let me see if I can turn it. I don't know if you can even see that. There are 3 buildings, and there's smoke coming from the chimneys of the buildings, for example. That one was hard to see. I have a golden Sacagawea dollar for gold, you know, to represent like a lot of money. I have an Indian coin, which would represent not so much money. An I Ching coin, maybe fate or destiny. A piece of coral, or no, not coral, I'm sorry. A piece of shell that has holes in it, which this would mean to me, in my understanding, how I would take this, is there are parts of a situation that we do not see. There are pieces missing, there's more to the story. That's how I would take that. I have a cowrie shell, which I would take to mean like it could have to do with like female sexuality, or it could be like divinity conveying a message. It depends how it falls and what's in proximity to that. There's all sorts of things in here. I also have king and queen chess pieces. Geez, there's so much. This little red soldier, which tends to mean like aggression, fighting. Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff in here. Like the little arrowhead could be like protection. Yeah, there's just all sorts of little curios in here. And I made this kit myself. And I don't call this a bone set. I call this a sign set. Because there are no actual bones in my set. And I have found success with these. And I think part of what makes these powerful is that I selected the pieces myself. And there's like a personal bond with this set. There's reasons behind what I chose to put in this set. And I have understandings, you know, how I would interpret the pieces that I chose. Not that I use set interpretations, but there are some general meanings I feel associated with different things, you know, that I chose, like the sage root, you know. It can have to do, for example, like the wisdom of the ancestors, because it's a root, and sage is wisdom, and roots are chthonic, you know, they're closer to, you know, those who have gone before. You know, they grow in the earth, which is in close proximity to the underworld. So I would see like a sage root, like the wisdom of the ancestors, like they're trying to say something to you. But yeah, so I just wanted to show this to you real quick. I'm going to have to go to work soon today, but I just wanted to make this video because some of you did express interest in seeing the bone set that was gifted to me. And I thought, hey, if I'm going to show you the bone set, I may as well show you my sign set. See, I like to always fold this and kind of just put it over my little curios and just kind of put them away when they're not in use. And if you have any comments or questions or thoughts in regard to this, please feel free to share them in comments. Till our next exchange, blessed be and Ashe.